afternoon, and happy Thursday, self-storage industry and others that are participating today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jessica Johnson. I'm the Vice President of the Storage Business Owners Alliance. And today I am joined by Keith Squared is what it looks like on screen.
That's right.
But it's actually Keith and Peggy from our partners over at SynchronyHR. They're going to give us a great presentation today on the difficulties that people are faced with hiring, especially as it relates to the self-storage industry. And as we always do this, before I get started, we're going to jump in and do a few quick polls. And please answer candidly for these poll questions. I'm going to launch them now. All right, everyone. What is the average cost for sourcing a successful hire per job in the United States? 500, 1,000, 4,000, or a million bones?
Probably a million. I'm going to go with.
I do hear a little bit of feedback. I'm not sure if that's you, Keith, or you, Peggy, but maybe mute until we get into some deeper talking here. Thank you. That helped tremendously. All right. 50% said 4,000, 40% said 1,000, 10% said 500, and good for all of those that did not answer $1 million. Not that expensive. Keith, what is the accurate answer?
4,000. Yep, awesome. $4,000. Well, 4,100 and change. Yep. That's the average cost to acquire a qualified candidate and get in the door. And that's why it's so important to be able to source out properly, right? Because the money goes into the training and the hiring and all that as well.
Absolutely. Well, that's good that at least the industry knows what they're talking about. They answered correctly. So here we go. I'm going to launch poll number 2. All right, guys. Today, what's your most prominent hiring challenge you're faced with? Qualified candidates, finding them, figuring out the right messaging, negative company reviews on sites like Glassdoor or LinkedIn, both 1 and 2. Oh, big so far, 100%. Sourcing qualified candidates. I think that everyone is challenged with this as this landscape has definitely changed post-COVID and all the different things that are going on currently in the economy in the country. We do have some that said both 1 and 2. So figuring out the right messaging to send out there when you're sending out a job ad. Thank you guys for answering. All right, next poll. Sorry guys, we have got a bunch of polls today. We're trying to make this interactive and keep you guys around and engaged with us. That's the name of the game here. So what incentives have you done to motivate and increase an applicant? Signing bonus, increased pay, flexible schedule, no change in your strategy. Get those answers in. Going to give you a couple minutes, seconds, not minutes, seconds. Increased pay seems to be dominating so far, followed by a signing bonus. Would love to know what those signing bonuses are that you're offering. You guys also can throw those comments in the chat to engage with us there. Let us know what your signing bonuses are. And then we've got a tie right now between no change in strategy and flexible schedule. Very cool. Again, if you want to put in the chat what your signing bonus is to give other people ideas as far as what you're doing, that would be awesome to share. Share the knowledge, share the wealth. All right, what statement best describes your hiring process today? No HR department. You're relying on an internal admin to handle all of the things that would go into trying to acquire a new candidate. Certified HR specialist who's managing it for you, or you post the ads on multiple job boards and you wait for applicants. Checking out these answers. Heavy on the side of you guys are all out there posting on multiple job boards and waiting for applicants. You're probably getting fry cooks applying to your data administrator positions. I've seen stuff like that happen when we posted jobs. So sometimes, you know, having an HR company stand beside you would maybe help eliminate some of all that coming in. good bit of you guys do have a certified HR specialist that you're working with, which is smart. Awesome. Thank you on that one. Next one. Do you currently utilize, and this ATS is an applicant tracking system software that integrates with job boards? Yes or no? And we'll get into ATS a little bit later in today's webinar. Huge group is saying that they have an applicant tracking system, which is awesome. About 75% said yes, 25% said no. Give them a couple more seconds. All right, thank you everyone. Two more, and then I promise we're gonna jump into this informative session. Sorry, we got a lot of stuff going on out there. All right, we always ask this. Do you currently own a self-storage facility, or are you looking to own a self-storage facility? Good bit say currently own, good bit said neither. They're probably some of our vendor partners that are out there on the call today. Awesome. Big group here that currently owns. Very good. Okay, and last but not least, are you a member of the SBOA? Yes, duh, why wouldn't I be? The SBOA rocks. No, but you're gonna go join today because membership is free, so it would behoove you to become a member. Or your current vendor partner, or you wanna become a vendor partner. 75% out there are members, 25% are not. Those 25% that are not, I will make sure that I will follow up with each and every one of you to get you in with us. You should be in with us. With all that being said, I'm going to go into a couple quick housekeeping items before we get started. We are live today. You've got two people that are in this space that are experts in this space. So if you have questions, please, 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 please ask those questions live here today. Would love to see live questions as we go through this presentation. If you have any technical difficulties, there is a raise your hand option. I will try to mitigate those as best as I possibly can on the technical side. And keep your eyes peeled for the chat. As we proceed through today's webinar, I'm going to be posting some important links out there. Obviously, the link to the SBO website, SynchronyHR's link to their website, some LinkedIn links, Facebook links, etc. Help grow the networks and get everybody connected. So with that being said, Keith and Peggy, I'm going to let you guys go into a brief intro of who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing it, and how long you guys have been rocking and rolling over there with SynchronyHR.
Absolutely, thank you. That was excellent. So my name is Keith Tirico. I'm in business development with Synchrony. We're an HR outsourcing company, also known as a PEO, professional employer organization. So we manage the back office for hundreds, of different companies, everything from payroll through the technology side of it, and we tie that all in together. Peggy, you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, Peggy, you're muted.
We're going to let you talk now.
I'm telling you, I'm writing a book. It's called You're on Mute because
yeah, you told me to mute myself, and I'm in HR, and I'm very obedient. So
you are.
You're a good
I
listener.
will tell you that.
Okay,
Okay,
so
Peggy Manuel, and I also work with SynchronyHR, and I have been in the PEO space for probably the last 11 or 12 years, and historically am an HR professional. So recruiting has always been something that has come across my plate, so I'm very familiar with this topic of conversation.
Yeah,
Peggy,
oh, go ahead, Keith. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Peggy, could you go to the next slide? Because I think that encompasses a little bit more of what we do, which is, I know today we're focusing.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to give the audience some scope here. Yeah, Keith and I were talking. I was talking with one of our members a couple weeks ago, and they made the comment to me like, I have not been able to hire in 4 weeks, and they have 50 some locations, right? So that's a huge gap. That they're typically hiring, weekly, if not monthly. So once they said that, and Keith and I started talking, I'm like, we really should do a topic about, the difficulties in hiring right now, because every single category out there, whether it's self-storage, restaurants, you name it. I mean, with the way things are going, and like I said, the current economy and the current world, this is a big challenge. So we think that this is an important topic, and I think you guys are really going to get some good stuff out of this today. So
Yeah.
Keith, I'll let you go into this slide. And Synchrony is a partner of the SBOA. So if any members out there need any type of HRO assistance, please let us know. We'll get you connected over to these guys. But Keith, if you want to go over each one of these categories, and then we'll dive into one of them specifically once you go through them, that would be great.
Absolutely. And today we want to make this very interactive, guys. So please, we're going to definitely take some questions. This is more educational. I will describe right now, do you see what you have up there on the screen? This pretty much encompasses everything that we do, and it's a lot of different stuff. We're not going to go over all these things today, but just to take a look at some of these bullets that we have up there from the payroll side of it, things like quarterly tax filings, 940s, 941s, W-2, W-3 preparation, processing garnishments. I mean, those are things we do from a payroll perspective. From an HR and compliance, you've already met Peggy, so we have great folks like that internally that are here to work with our clients. So things like handbooks, all that nitty gritty blocking and tackling, transactional type of stuff, we like to take care of. You can see some of the other bullets that are there too as well on things we handle. Employee benefits, everything from going out to market, finding plans for you, utilizing our master plans, the administration, the reconciling of the bills, if you have more than 50 employees, so the ACA compliancy, eligibility tracking, those are things that we manage for all of our accounts. And risk management, the big thing on risk management, I would say, is workers' comp. We do the OSHA trainings, obviously loss control. But, really, it's like if there's a claim, we take it in, we answer questions, we coordinate medical treatment, things like that. And it is on our master plan, which tends to be a little cheaper than what you can get on the regular market. The pay-go aspect of it is pretty awesome, because then you just pay basically as you payroll. So there's no upfront fees or audits, things like that go away. And then from a technology standpoint is where I'm going to pause, because this is really kind of where we're going today. And I think that if you had a chance to read the article, you'll see on there that we really want to kind of stress how the utilization of technology, is definitely an area that, you should be focusing on. It seems like some of you are, and then maybe getting a little bit today on what you should be doing maybe to maximize that. And if you look through those bullets that we have there, those things like time labor management, applicant tracking, streamlining the processes, these are things that we're going to get into, and more specifically, the applicant tracking piece of it. Peggy, can you just go to the next slide real quick?
Be delighted.
So I think I covered pretty much everything on that, Peggy. Did I leave anything out that you want to add to that, or no? Or is that pretty good?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jess, did you have any questions? I know I just threw a lot out there.
No, I mean, I guess at this point, if you want Peggy to go into the applicant tracking system to give us a demo of what that looks like from your technology that you guys have over at SynchronyHR and what you're using. So those out there that aren't utilizing one can kind of see what that may look like if they have some interest.
Okay, and I think the biggest point here is, even if you have an applicant tracking system, I think it's the coordination of how we streamline the applicant tracking system into our payroll software. So,
For sure.
yeah, so all that stuff. So, okay, so without further ado, if you want to go forward, Peggy, we can start on the applicant tracking.
Okay, I'll do it. And of course, while I sat here, my system timed out. Isn't that how it always works?
Always.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess while Peggy's getting that, Keith, I'll ask you this one question.
Sure.
I mean, what do you think is the biggest demand right now in the hiring pool, and why?
So, I think it's different depending on what industry you're in, right? I mean, there's certain different needs if you're in an accounting firm, or if you're in self-storage or in hospitality. What I'm seeing, and it may be kind of based on a lot of the clients that I have and I've been interacting with over the last year since we've dealt with COVID, the hourly lower wage earners, those candidates, they have a lot of choices right now. That's one of the things that's happening. So, they're able to go to a lot of different places. And I think when you look at the hospitality industry, kind of those type of workers do fall into the same type of pooling that I think self-storage, people will be looking for,
For
from a
sure.
demographic standpoint. Yeah. So I would say that that is probably, a pretty big area. And if you don't have the proper messaging that's going out there to entice them to want to maybe reach out to you or come onto your job, if you're missing that, they're just maybe not going to reach out there. And Jess, one of the other things that I'm seeing, and not that this is the only motivator, but in that space, with the federal government, putting out and extending unemployment benefits, even the states, folks, quite frankly, are pretty close to making the same amount of money or just a little bit less, to stay at home. So, if you're kind of falling and teetering on that, there's a little less motivation, right?
For sure.
But yeah, but I think that people want to get to work, right? They don't want to just sit at home. Although, I look at it kind of too, like, if you've been sitting home for 15 months or 12 months, it's kind of like working out, right? It's like, how do I get started again? How do I get kind of in there and want to get, moving again? So again, that comes into like the messaging and culture, the, hiring bonuses, like basically things like that, figuring out how you want to, portray that.
Yeah, and I mean, I have tons of friends locally that own local restaurants and bars. I feel so bad for them when I have conversations with them. I mean,
Right.
they have minimal staffing, they can't find staffing in one of the highest turnover probably segments out there, right? Restaurant,
Yep.
at least the last time I looked at it was in like the 150% turnover rate from, I mean, it's just
crazy.
and they can't find help. I was driving through a local shopping center the other day, and Dollar Tree had a sign on the front door that they're doing daily pay to try to entice people to come in. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on that you see out there in the world. So
Yeah.
it looks like Peggy, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I wonder about the messaging side of it too, like being careful, because I think this is kind of temporary right now. I mean, some of the stuff, I mean, the unemployment stuff's going to go away, right? People are eventually going to go back to work. They're not just going to stay home. So you got to be a little careful on how you craft that. And that's one thing we really do with our clients is we sit down and first off, it's almost an interview. We got to understand you, right? To understand how we want to message this out there, because you want to, you want to get somebody that lines up with your culture and exactly what you guys are expecting. And one of the things I think that is a major miss is going in there and just increasing people's salaries, because you have folks that are working for you right now. Are you paying these people now more money to come in there? What about them?
Yeah.
I mean, so you got to be a little careful on how you want to craft that, to hit on that point and not upset the folks that you currently have that are with you.
Yeah, for sure. No, 100%. Looks like
Can you
Peggy's up and
yeah,
we
can
see
you
it.
see my screen? Okay,
Oh
perfect.
yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Peggy.
So just going back to, as I mentioned, that I have been in HR for a long time, and I know that recruiting certainly is one of my least favorite things to do. And so when I ran into a tool that would make that not so complicated and not load my email box with a whole bunch of applicants, I was very excited about that. And I'm, more so when it's on our platform and we're giving this to our clients to use, I get to see every day the people that are out here all the time setting it up, and they say how easy it is to have a platform, kind of a one-stop shop for hiring. So this is the platform, just generally speaking. The dashboard. Couple key features is when I come in here, first of all, I can see all of my jobs that I might have posted. I can easily take a job, take it offline. I can easily take it back and put it back online by just scrolling down and say, I want to publish that job online. More so, I'm going to go just back to the dashboard again. Sometimes I really want to, it's fun. Okay, can you all see
Technology.
it? I know. I hope I didn't scroll this too small that you can't see it. I wanted to kind of make sure to give a full screen, but there's a lot of functionality around here. And the nice thing about this system in a couple different ways, not only is it one-stop shop, but our clients can actually tailor this to have their logo on it, to have their color scheme, to make it fit their culture. So a couple things, when you come in here, you'll notice up top that there is a link. So this is my applicant tracking system. However, I can put this link out on my website. I can drive people from other locations. If I want to go post something on my LinkedIn page and put a link here, I can do that. So I don't have to create all these different spaces. I can come right here to the My Careers page. This will show, you know, like if somebody clicked on this, what someone would see if I used my my link, my hyperlink, to put it out on other sites. It will take people here. So it will not only tell them about a job, you know, it will also give them an opportunity to learn more, to come in here and see a more detailed description, and then to come straight from that description and start applying from the job straight here. They can upload their resume, which most people do. They can, you know, I also have one of the things that I have, I don't have it on this particular job, but I do have it on another job where I can set up questions that says, hey, tell me about you. I'm not gonna be able to publish this one, I'll take this off, but and so I can add questions in the hiring process when they go to the application. If I want to start, as I think Jessica said before, how many people have gotten like 100 resumes for people that have nothing to do with what you're recruiting for? The nice thing is that you can have screening questions in here that says, you know, how many years of experience do you have? They can be things where they answer yes or no. If you want to ask them questions where they have to type something in a paragraph format, you can do that. You can ask about specific skills on equipment, technology, whatever it is that's applicable to yourself. Within our applicant tracking system, you can actually come in here and add those here. So when this person applies, I'm going to be able to see their answers. Just going back real quick, one of the jobs that's in my bank here, this HR business partner, I had posted this. In this particular case, I used only the free boards available to the site. And within a matter of a very short time, you can see I actually couldn't handle the flow. It was too much. I had 242 applicants that posted for this job. I looked at 124 of them. There's still 118 people out here that I haven't even looked at. So if I were looking at an applicant when they come in, I can click on Tana's name. I can come over here and see if she put a cover letter in here. I can read the cover letter and learn what she had to say about it. I can look at her resume, which is 2 pages. So she gave me a resume, and it gives me a text view and a PDF, and learn more about her. I can actually, what I do, because as you can see, if you have 242 resumes, that's probably a lot. I put some notes for myself that say she's heavy in this skill, maybe doesn't have much in, you know, heavy in retail, whatever the case is. But more importantly, I can choose to rate this applicant in a couple different ways. I can assign her stars. So I have in my own head, you know, if they really have no experience, I'm going to give them 1, so I know that I looked at them. If they're, you know, okay, I'm going to give them a 3. If there's somebody that's screaming for me to talk to, I'm going to give them a 4 or 5. So if, you know, I gave her a 4, I can do that. I can also put she's under consideration, not qualified, not selected, schedule a phone interview. So I can move it through the system to be able to do that. Now, when I come back here, the nice thing is, like, I would sit down here and spend time reading through people. I'd get a good group of applicants, and then I'd come back here and I would search. So I would say, I only want to see the people in here that have 4-star ratings. And then it will give me everybody, and this is actually the person we hired, but this gives me everybody that I could look at and say, okay, these are people I want to talk to and see more about them as it relates to my job. When I'm done with them, the beauty of this system is I can actually choose to send a thanks but no thanks letter. I can request reference checks. The system can be linked up by our client's account. If you wanted to run background checks straight from here, we can attach that technology here again, so it remains a one-stop shop for you. You know, I can kind of go through all this. In the end, even in the software, it allows me to set up everything that I need in here that says like the offer letters. So I can set up a template. So when I'm ready to go ahead and send an offer letter, I have a draft offer letter out here ready to go that I can launch to the person and be able to communicate with them through the system. So again, for me, it's nice to have one-stop shopping. I don't know about you guys, but I get hundreds of emails every single day. And the nice thing is the system will send me an email that says you have 20 new applicants today. I'm not getting 20 emails. I get one email that says you have 20 applicants today. So I just love this. But the other side of this is, you know, if I'm looking for, if I want to create a new job, for me, it's as simple as I set up a template. I put a job description out here that says I need a self-storage manager. Oops, if I could type, that would be really, seriously. It is almost frightening. I think I had too much lunch. Okay.
I think it's because you're live. If I was typing live in front of an audience too, I would be, and I type pretty fast.
Yeah, and I know that M is lowercase and it bothers me. So
That's okay.
I can set up a template in here. If I have reoccurring jobs that I hire, I put a job description in here on my account that I can access at any time. So you can see I added a self-storage manager. I simply typed the title of that. I clicked and did, you know, pick the template that I was going to use, and I let it fill in here. I put in, maybe if I want to put the zip code where I'm hiring this, if I want to look for, I don't know what I just hit, but specific words within their resume, keyword detect, I can type that in here. So it's going to help me already start filtering the applications. It's going to do a lot of different things. Then you can see down here, this is my form builder. This gives me an option to come out here and give some rules. I cover letter, I require a cover letter. But more so when I keep going down, I'm gonna hide that really quick. This is where I would start customizing my fields and start, if I wanted to add different questions, I could do that. And then I can just simply publish and continue. Now this is probably going to tell me I need to move. I'm going to do it. So there we go. When it's time for me to publish that, place the job online, currently off, that's okay. So when I come here, it already gives me options. Now I have this set up so that it automatically is going to post to free boards. But if I want to post to anything else, this is like shopping on one of the websites online. You just come in here, you're like, oh, I'll add that to my shopping cart. And then I'm like, oh, yep, I want to go to Monster. I'll add that to my shopping cart. And so bottom line, and it says there's, you know, free boards, I could learn more, but there's more websites out here that I can choose to say, where do I want to send these to? And then once I come to the checkout, it will ask me more information about my Craigslist post, what city I'm in, and based upon the city that I chose, it will tell you the cost of doing that. So it gives you both the opportunity. I mean, you can see as soon as I hit publish, I've already got that job out online. It's already out on all the free boards, and we've been talking here for maybe 5 minutes. So, you know, it's really, I think we have so many things going on right now, primarily because we're having to work harder because there's no talent out there, it seems, that this is the last place you want to spend time, you know, having to create a job, having to go post it, having to go to every website, you know, all of those things that just take time that we don't have. So I have really enjoyed, and our clients have really enjoyed, the opportunity to use this one-stop shopping for our posting jobs and knowing where you're going to go. But more so, if you think about this, let me go back to that again. When you come in here, if you're done and you've taken all these jobs, they're offline, just like that, just by clicking. I'm going to take our self-storage manager offline, just by clicking, take offline. Now, if I have an applicant pool out there, the other thing that you don't think about is those applicants don't go away. So when you're looking for something and you want to come back out here, you know, to my benefits people, and I just want to search through here and find things on them, I can use the applicants that are already out here. I can archive people. I can, you know, it's just so much simpler to try and source candidates. And even like the HR job that I had out here that had 242 people, I can come back here and continue to search through my stars. You notice the keywords, I mentioned that before, that I could put keywords in here so that it would find. So like I look at this Alexander Probst and look how many of the keywords he satisfied in my search. So naturally, I'm going to start by going to the people that got something to offer me right there, right? I'm going to start looking at that versus this person, which had nothing. They had nothing going on. And that is the system searching their application for words that are applicable to the search. So, you know, you look at the stats, just generally speaking, and where we are today, and it's kind of like what the industry is saying, or what the world's saying, whatever you want to put it, is that half employers are ready to get back to post-pandemic hiring, really by the end of the year. And even a Department of Labor report had showed that the economy added nearly 1 million jobs. And the challenge really is in the gap of finding people. So, you know, getting out here, having a system where you can track people, but I think more so, or as part of that, also using a system that's going to present you in a nice professional manner. Oh, I'm so sorry. I would turn it off, but then I can't hear you. You can't hear me. But that will also put things out here, not only in a professional manner, but you can build from your website. When I showed before, I want to go back to my home here. No, I'm going to do that wrong. When you're putting things out here on your career page, which will show all of your jobs, you can create interest and energy around your jobs, generally speaking, your hiring, your culture. So you can use the system to create a great introduction to your environment and the positions you're looking for. Most jobs, I don't know if they still do this, but like the old newspaper days where you had to pay for every word that you posted, that's not the case here. So, you know, bottom line is using a tool like this to help you get to talent faster, to get your word, your needs out to the market faster, to be able to look at them faster, and to have a good pool of people that you can access and kind of quickly slice your pie to see who fits and who doesn't, is a great tool to have in your kit as we enter the more challenging times of hiring.
Yeah, Peggy, I would say too, also the ability to communicate to candidates, right? You have someone that's there, you can, I mean, very quickly communicate with them. And, you know, I think that time right now, and that's the whole point of technology, right? It's to increase the speed of which you can actually go and find an applicant, right? And then bring them on board. So
Correct.
I think what really separates, you know, the utilization of the applicant tracking system is two things. You know, the way we utilize it, and we can only speak about with our, you know, our current partners that we have, and that is sitting down and setting up the messaging that they're trying to put out there from a culture standpoint, what the keywords are, setting this up for them or with them, you know, whichever it is that they want, or a little bit of both. And then being able to take that applicant and that candidate, source them properly, you know, advise them, and then bring them right into a payroll system from offer. So I think we can show something maybe with that. That would be awesome.
You want me to show how to do that?
I think so, unless you want to go a little deeper on this, but I think you kind of got the whole point out there, right?
Yeah, I did. And I think the offer thing is a little hard to do. I mean, it can do it. And I was showing the offer letter out there. Unfortunately, will trigger a message to someone
Right.
A lot of database.
Well, this is high level, everyone. So,
Yeah.
which we can take a deeper dive after for anyone that wants to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing I'm showing here now some applicant statistics, and there's also throughout the system, other things that kind of tell you this was a small job I posted. And I use this all the time. I have people ask me all the time, Keith, like, where's the best place to post? And, posting jobs is expensive. I mean, that's just the bottom line. It's an expense you have to plan for. And I had a client that wanted to kind of post all over the board, and then he realized he had spent a whole bunch of money that didn't really bear any fruit. Right. I love that this particular system provides statistics so you have a sense where is your best bang for your buck, right? So in here, this particular job, I did not use any paid advertising, but if you look, 77% of jobs posted or the applicants came from Indeed or from, like this place I've never even heard of. But all of these were sourced through one button of me pushing out to all the free boards at one time. Same thing, if I had invested, so for that partner that I had that we posted to a bunch of paid boards, the beauty was as he looked at the next job, because he was frustrated, he really was looking for an accounting person, and he was frustrated that he wasn't getting what he thought he should get. And he paid to post out on LinkedIn, and when we looked at the statistics on that position, really nothing came from LinkedIn. There was a lot of investment and very little fruit. So this tool is not only a tool for the current moment, it's a tool for you to be educated consumers in placing ads and recruiting talent for your positions. One last thing I want to say, Keith, you mentioned about how easy it is, and I showed that a little bit. It's click of a button as far as sending out messages to people. We're interested, we got your resume, whatever it is you want to do to drive communication to your people. This is not a time investment. Oh my God, I just forgot what I was going to say.
Well, yeah, I'll fill in what you were going to say, Peggy. I mean, we just, the SBOA, we just hired 2 new employees recently. We did not use an applicant tracking system. We posted on Indeed. And on the regular, like you were saying, I probably anywhere on any given day get about 100 emails or in excess of 100 emails. Then when we were going through that recruitment process, that pretty much doubled, right? And I'm opening email by email. I'm downloading the PDF, the ones I'm interested in. I'm putting them in a separate folder. I wish I would have had this system where I could have given them a star, or maybe some of those keywords would have popped out, because I tell you what, although we got some really great applicants, we got some that had no relevancy to the job that we had listed. I mean, they had never, I was hiring a digital marketing person. They had never done anything in the digital marketing arena whatsoever, had no idea what Google Ads, keywords, like the major hot buttons that for us, we were looking for in a qualified candidate. So I love this system. And I do, the audience has asked a question. They want to know, what are the hiring difficulties that you feel like you're seeing out there, and what are the different possible solutions we could offer to people that are seeing those challenges? And I think maybe the slide deck kind of goes into, it's a good segue into the next slide. So Keith, I'll let you take, not this one, the next one. There you go. Yep. Okay. Keith, if you want to just take us through this and like the general challenges that, we know self-storage owner operators are having in finding talent, attracting talent, retaining talent, et cetera. And then what those solutions, what the suggestions of the solutions that you would give to them.
Yeah, like I said earlier too, it's falling in that job pool right now that's really kind of either coveted, or those people just haven't got off the couch really to go in there and to get those jobs. So it comes down to standing out. And I think that, you made a great point, if I can segue what you were saying, and that was narrowing the funnel down, because, to your point and Peggy's, I mean, we all have, and I think the people that are on this call, hundreds of emails, it's very hard to really get through them. So to
It's
navigate,
tough.
right? I mean, you just said 150. I mean, Peggy showed 200 and I think 40, you know, and we did hire that. I don't know how you found that person. She's great, by the way. I think you're referencing Heather, but yeah, I mean, it's really difficult. So I can't speak for, I don't know the people that are on the call, who they're using, but we spend and we take a lot of time in the front. It's kind of like good information in, right? You know, good information out, bad in, bad out. So we spend a lot of time, you know, understanding, you know, who you are, right, for our client. When I say that, and we help our client, we help them figure that out because sometimes they really don't know who they are and what they're actually looking for. So I think if you can narrow that funnel down by putting in the proper questions and getting a system in place, and maybe sometimes, you know what, I don't know if you have an internal HR department, and even if you do, maybe you can use some assistance. Those are things like we call it tactical HR and strategic HR. And some of that tactical HR, you know what, we can take that on, that nitty gritty stuff, and maybe help them do some, you know, position that correctly, that message, and then go through some of that resume kind of review and kind of put stars on that for them so they can come in later and say, okay, let's look at your 4 stars. Now you're looking at, you know, 20 really focused candidates rather than 200, even utilizing the technology.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a second full-time job for me during that hiring process, just managing what was coming in, even the follow-up communication with the applicants, telling them that, you know, I wanted to schedule an interview with them or they were a yes or no after the interview process. It was a task. And I mean, now seeing this, I wish I would have had a system in place like this for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Peggy,
and I wanted to add one more thing. You know, I mentioned before that, you know, that there's just this whole flood of people are getting ready to hire. There's been all these new jobs, but yet we have the issue in that people don't want to get off the couch. And I think as we look at that, and that's one of the things that, you know, whether or not we're doing anything with hiring with our clients or not, I think helping you to understand, or for you to take some time to understand what is your competitive advantage. So today, employees, bottom line, employees' expectations have changed. I just got an email from my husband the other day, who is trying to beg me to let him retire. But he sent me an email to let me know, hey, guess what? Here's an article that says people are quitting. People are quitting their jobs. So not only do we have an issue with the hiring, but people are quitting because their expectations have, through the pandemic, have changed so much that, you know, as an employer, regardless of what industry we're in, like, that's interesting. And what that's really calling us to do is to stand up and take notice. You know, I know in our poll before, a lot of people have said that they've really not done anything to change. I think if I were to suggest something, is that you understand within your industry what other people are doing so that you are at least competitive within the marketplace for recruiting talent. You know, if everybody's like Jessica had said when she went into the Dollar Tree and they're like, we're going to pay you day wages. If that's the nature of what your industry has done to convert within this post-pandemic hiring time, you need to stand up and take notice, or it's not going to get any easier. You're going to just find your needle in the haystack,
Yep.
and it might be the one undesirable candidate that nobody else wanted.
And Peggy, just to get across the grain a little bit, like things that we've done, I don't know what they all have access to, but, you know, we have, you know, master policies, right, that for dental, vision, you know, long-term disability, short-term disability, things that some companies can't offer, or they can't offer them out for certain reasons because they don't meet certain requirements. 401k. Now, the first thing when I say that, everyone on this phone is probably saying to themselves, like, well, how are we going to pay for that, right? So we can't put that out there. How are we going to manage that? How are we going to do administration on that? Well, what we do for our clients is they can be employee paid, doesn't have to be employer paid. So we can put that out there in the advertisements, right? Dental, vision, you know, offered. 401k, we don't charge, you know, our clients. We have an initial setup, which is very small. I mean, pennies. But after that, we do all the, you know, the testing for that. The, you know, again, doesn't have to be employer paid, or you can do $10, you know, a paycheck towards that, whatever it is. But you can say that and put that out there. And even, you know, Peggy, one thing that I know we've done a lot of, I've done some of the folks that we have, is you do that group life insurance, right? For everyone, it's $10,000, which is like, cost you like $20 or $50 a month, you know what I mean, to put in there, and you put in your advertise, you know, it's another separation on top of what you're saying. And we've done a lot of that. That's been successful for us, you know.
Awesome. I do have a question from the audience from Miranda. She says, many companies are offering sign-on bonuses, which someone else earlier did mention that when I asked what those sign-on bonuses are, if people were offering them, they're offering a $500 sign-on bonus for, you know, a facility manager or property manager, or even somebody coming in. That's a pretty decent bonus. So that's very generous on their end. But they're asking, what are we seeing in the self-storage industry, and what would be a best practice if you did want to offer something like that, the sign-on bonus or something to kind of attract them in?
Yeah. So I'm going to personally say, you know, watch out, you know, fixed and variable compensation. We kind of spoke about that. Do exactly, you know, what was just said, and that's the hiring bonuses, you know, retention bonuses, instead of increasing the base pay. I get a little concerned increasing base pay, you know, because it's an ongoing impact, right? So we change that base pay, and now have we upset the apple cart? And one thing we didn't talk about is going against the herd, and we kind of talk about that internally with our clients, and that's retention. We're all talking about hiring. We're doing this. What is your retention plan? What have you done, or have you even thought about what you're going to do that's going to impact the retention of the current employees you have? So, you know, we're really big on getting out there. What's your plan? You know, make sure you're communicating with the employees, because it's $4,000 right here. I mean, $4,000, I mean, to get a qualified applicant, that to me seems pretty worth it to have some type of plan internally. If we're on this call, we're looking to hire, that we have a retention plan to make sure that we're communicating with the folks that are with us, you know, and make sure they're staying. If they're not, that we're being, that we're doing the things that we need, because it's easier to keep somebody than to hire somebody new and train them. I know, Peggy, if you agree with that or not, but.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I think even from the perspective of the question, which was the hiring bonus, and I've just hired 2 people, and I absolutely employed that strategy, but I married that with retention. So I knew I needed to make sure to not only get them in the door, but I needed to keep them. So I planned that hiring bonus to be distributed over a period of time that would allow me some retention and allow me the opportunity to make sure I just didn't invest in somebody, or to make sure I invested, to put it in the positive, in somebody that's going to be a contributor to my team. So I don't think it all has to be about, you know, about handing out money. I mean, I think when you look at what you, again, looking at your competitive advantage, how do you fit in the marketplace? But, you know, to start looking at some hybrid strategies around, you know, staffing, around schedules, around, you know, using your people as your best source for new employees, to figure out how to incorporate diversity and inclusion in there, to, you know, give opportunities for people when you talk about retention, to get them excited about coming to work tomorrow. You know, what's going to make this not just be the same 6 years from now from where I am. So I think that this post-pandemic is calling really for us to be creative, to be aware, and to really look for efficiencies in, you know, how we're sourcing and recruiting applicants, because it's more difficult, and the last thing you want to do is spend time doing things the hard way to get to the same result.
Yep.
For sure. I've got somebody else here saying, let's see, this is Christian says, we recently signed up for ZipRecruiter, which claims to post to 100+ job boards, yet some locations only yield less than 10 applicants in 30 days of an ad being posted. Any thoughts, perspective on that comment there?
I have an attitude about it.
Well, let's hear this attitude, Miss Thing. I want to hear it.
You might want to have vetted me more carefully. I'm just.
Yeah. Do I need to mute you?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm sure that that's exactly what ZipRecruiter intends to do. And I'm going to, like, I showed you some statistics on some of the jobs that I had posted. Our position was pre-pandemic. The benefits specialist is in the pandemic, and, you know, in the last couple months. Unfortunately, this is something that, again, when I talk about being creative and really getting out there and make sure you're competitive, it's because ZipRecruiter, our thing, you know, anywhere you're going, the first thing you have to do is get somebody off the couch to click the button. And that's really, in my opinion, until we get through this free unemployment, we're going to have our struggles going to be even bigger. And I really hate to be political about that, and I don't really mean to be, but that's exactly what I've experienced, is that when I would have gotten 140 applicants for an admin position that should have just in the past would have yielded me, you know, hundreds of applications, I got 8. I mean, how do you, I don't, you know how to battle that. So that's where you have to go, where these people are. Again, being creative. Yes, use the job boards, use your employees to help be your word of mouth, get out on social media wherever you can. You're gonna have to be creative, and you're gonna have to compel people to say, I'm ready.
Yeah, and then Christian follows this up by saying another challenge is getting a hold of a recent applicant. Christian, I feel your pain there. I got literally one day I remember sitting at my email and responding immediately, right? They had submitted, so clearly they were in front of their computer, picked up the phone, called them, left a voicemail, sent an email follow-up, and it took several days to get back to me. And I'm like, well, okay, that shows your level of, you know, interest there. And then also saying, you know, getting them to show up to the actual phone interview. Feel your pain there again as well. Set up several of those. And listen, I try to like check all the boxes, right? Text them the day before, even an hour before, which I really shouldn't have to do as the employer, right? They want to come work for me, but I just did that as a reminder. And they still didn't show up to the phone interview. I mean, it's amazing what you see. We did 2 Zoom interviews because we were doing everything in a telecommute remote situation. And these jobs were remote. One gentleman, these are kind of funny stories, but these are just true things that you're seeing out there in the candidate pool. Needed, I guess, to put a battery in his alarm, his smoke detector. And that thing was, if anyone's ever heard a smoke detector chirp when the battery is dead or low, it's super annoying. So I'm like fixated on this chirping, and I was like, I mean, and I checked, this guy could have been a really good applicant, right? But first impressions are everything. And I'm totally like disengaged from the word go because of this chirping in the background. I mean, I was a little smart mouth at the end too and said, you know, you might want to invest in some AA batteries next time before you get on an interview. Because it was like, what is, you know, and I got on another one and I mean, had no questions to ask us whatsoever. Didn't research the position, didn't research the company. You know, we always open up with, so what do you know about us? And the answer was, well, I really don't know anything. And it's like, hey man, Google would have been your friend in this scenario. At least go like, you know, so you see all kinds of varieties coming in, and it is a challenge. But Randa's asking, and we're gonna have to wrap up here soon, guys. If you have any final questions, get them in here while the experts are here with us today. If a manager can make upwards of $18 per hour, including bonus, but hourly starts at 11, how do you advertise that job posting to show the potential income available without it being misleading?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
It is.
Yeah, especially in today's marketplace where the minimum wage in most states is going up quite a bit. You know, I think if you were putting out a job, first of all, I think that I probably wouldn't post the salary in that particular scenario. Instead, I would create the energy around the job and the opportunity for growth potential. You know, and you know, just that energy might be the thing that brings people in house. And I think that's one of those times where you're going to want to get in front of people, whether it's virtually or not, and give an opportunity to be able to say, let me tell you my story. Like, here's where it is. I started where you were, I worked hard, and now I'm making $18 an hour. You know, to be able to share with them that there's opportunities with the right candidates. because that opportunity really only exists with a smaller population of people than your applicant pool.
Good answer.
Keith, you have anything on that one, or she
Just
knocked it out of the park?
reiterate, no, not on that one. Just first impressions count. This is temporary. Maybe this is a great reset, recheck that we've been a little lazy ourselves as business owners, managers, and whatnot on how we've been going about it. And you know what? We're going to come out of this. It's temporary, and let's become more efficient through technology going forward. Why should we not? And just wait for moments like this to happen. So that's my quick ending there in summary.
Awesome. Keith, Peggy, anything else that you want to share with the audience before we jump off here as it relates to HRO, your services, what you can provide to your clients if they were to come, ask you for assistance in some of these different categories?
Sure. I would say, if you were coming to work with us, I think one of the things that I treasure as an HR person who's now moved in, working in a very different role in a PEO, the thing that I treasure is that I get to be a trusted advisor to my partners, to our clients, who this is not what they got in business for. They didn't get into business for the things that I might enjoy. They got into business to be successful, in entrepreneurs and self-storage or whatever the case is. That's where their passion is, not where we're at. So to be able to be a good partner to somebody, to take some of that frustration off, when you look at the applicant tracking system, it might have felt overwhelming for you, but I can tell you, then that's how I felt when I first came to it, because new technology and I'm old. But the reality is I realized how simple it was, and it took a task that was really frustrating for our clients and added simplicity, ease, single point of service. And that's generally speaking of what we're about, is trying to take those things that are gnats or frustration and trying to uncomplicate them, untangle them, and to help you get through those things more quickly so you can focus on the reason you got in business.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and I mean, I'm not an HR person. I avoid HR like the plague. It takes a special person like you two out there to kind of mitigate through some of these challenges, whether it's, an employee handbook or what the right recourse is for disciplinary action, if somebody's slipping, not showing up to work on time, et cetera. So I think HR can be burdensome, and having a partner where you can kind of just push all of that burdensome items, challenges over to, at least like you were saying, Peggy, as a trusted advisor. I mean, it's advantageous, and it takes the weight off of you to be able to focus on your, leasing up your properties, getting rentals, making sure that you're checking your rates out there and you're increasing your rates for rentals, walking your property, making sure your property's still in good standing. Like, let these guys take care of the HR, and you guys go do what you came into self-storage because you love self-storage and you love, the model that it is. And just work with a partner. It's definitely has its advantage points for sure. Keith, what about you? Any final closing statements there?
No, I think you summed it all up. I mean, we're at, a little bit over right now, but anyone who wants to reach out to us at any time after, I mean, can you go to the last slide real quick and just kind of just post that up there if you don't mind, Peggy? We're
and
here.
I will send this out to all the attendees too. You guys will get Keith's email, his phone number. If anybody needs to find their information, if you go to the SBOA website under our savings program, SynchronyHR has a landing page there where you can fill out the form and submit it in if you would like to inquire and learn more about these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time today. I think we probably need a session 2 because I know there was much more that we could cover. So I'll make sure I get with your team, and we'll ask some people out there some of the challenges that they're seeing, and see if we can come up with a version 2 of this in the next couple weeks, because I think there's some more points we could definitely hit on. But everyone out there, have a great rest of your Thursday. Thanks, Keith and Peggy, for hosting this with me and getting your expertise out there to the self-storage industry. It's appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, everyone. Bye, everyone.